Welcome back to Some Good News Sports Network. Yep, that's the right acronym. Okay, I'm Jim Sims.
And I'm Roni Tomo. It's good to see you, Jim. See you, but not touch you.
Definitely. Remember to stay home and to stay safe. Now, like this time of year that we've been seeing in the NFL and the NBA, they've been reliving old games and old seasons and old teams. I think we should do the same thing with EVAC. I think the junior high silver flag football team is the first team that we should look into.
This is a very special group. Not quite as good as the boys' varsity flag football team.
I'm not sure about that, Roni. There's some debate there.
It's arguable.
Okay, so I'm thinking we should begin with their stats. They were 12-1 past season. They really wanted that undefeated season, but they ended up not being able to get it. But they're still able to stay number one in their division. They scored a total of 439 points, which was 100 more than the next team in the division.
Wow, that's a lot of points.
That averages out over their 13 games to 33 points.
Wow. Before we move on, I'd like to give you a refresher on the roster of the team. We have Colby Pleasance, Aaron McAvoy, AJ Hoover, Dane Mallow, Ian Porter, Jimmy Henry, Jonathan Miller, Cade Nail, Matthew Law, Noah Keller, Peter Towie, Ian Mallow, and Sam McAvoy.
Wow,
I know, it's a ton of players. Something that I really respected was from spending a little bit of time on the sideline, because I know their head coach pretty well, was that they really respected the coach but weren't afraid to give their input.
That's really good. Actually, that's an important part of the team's success is when the players really buy into the strategy. The thing that I wanted to highlight, the first thing I wanted to highlight was actually before their season started, they set goals on their own. They voted as a team on individual goals and they ended up picking 3. Their first goal was that they would pray for their opponent before every game, which they were able to do pretty consistently.
That's something that you don't see very often, was praying for the other team. That really shows their character.
Definitely.
I think it's important to highlight that it was the players that wanted to do this, not the coach, which shows that the players had a lot of leadership.
That's true. That's also true, Roni. The second goal was that each player on the team would score a touchdown. And they were able to do this on offense. Everyone on offense scored a touchdown. Everyone on the team scored an offensive touchdown.
Even the quarterback scored a touchdown. He caught one.
Many of the players also scored multiple offense and some also on defense as well. The last goal was that they would glorify God even when they won and when they lost. They were able to do this because as they were 12-1, they got to practice this on both sides.
Something that I really liked about was that I heard some of the players designed many of their plays, which really helps the players invest in the team and can build a camaraderie among the players.
Roni, that's very true. Actually, that helps the coach a lot by showing that the players are buying into the strategy and really contributes to the success of the team again. Now, the last point I wanted to make was their last game. I was actually at their last game.
Really?
Yes, I was.
Wow.
Now,
it's a big deal.
Now, the previous week, they played the same team that they were playing for their last game. They ended up winning, but only by a little margin just in the last few seconds. So they ended up holding another practice to practice plays and other concepts to really polish up for this final game. Now, this team ended up pulling players from their upper division junior high team, which is kind of legal. You're not really sure, but
it's just mostly demoralizing for the players because they know they're going to play against people that are bigger, stronger, and faster than they are.
Exactly. So this team came out fearless and they started playing their hearts out. So they played extremely hard. They ended up winning 45-0.
That was probably their hardest game, but still their best game.
Definitely. Now, that also showed there was more than their average points per game, which was, I think, a very important point that they were able to score that many points on a very competitive opponent.
Yeah.
Now, the last thing that contributes to the success of the team is the team management. The team mom is not the most glamorous position, but the team mom for Junior High Silver was Afton Porter. She was able to organize events and pass out gear, something that the coaches were not able to do since they were focusing on the game, and that's extremely helpful for the coaches and helps keep their mind on the success of the team and how to work the players in. The assistant coach was Brian Towie, and he served as an assistant coach while also being the defensive coordinator for the team. He had a lot of insight into the defensive side of the ball and how what the players can improve on in practice and make changes in the game of how to beat a lot of teams.
It's very important to have a good assistant coach because sometimes the head coach needs help in areas that he doesn't always have time for. So it's very important to have an assistant coach to help out in those areas.
True, Ronnie.
And who was the head coach?